So, you're thinking about doing some renovations to the house?
Few things you might want to fix before the appraiser shows up.
No. Hello, my name is Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us today.
So you're thinking about finding ways to kill your deal?
No. We are not looking for ways to kill the deal. We're looking for ways to save the deal.
What has this whole appraisal thing got to do with it?
That's what we're talking about.
As I was saying, we have some great tips today on how to kill your deal.
No. All right, so whether you're refinancing, selling your house, or buying a house, an appraiser is going to come to the house and do an appraisal of the property. They're doing a market value to see what the house is worth. Now, like I said, if you're the seller or if you're the buyer, or if you're a realtor who is showing a house for someone who is selling the house, there's a few things that the appraisers, our appraiser friends, have told us. Key things that have to be fixed on the house ahead of time that could really make a big difference.
And whether you close the deal.
What do they call it? Curb appeal on the outside and on the inside too.
It may not even work if you don't do these
Yeah,
things. Let's call this Captain Obvious. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that the utilities are on.
Obviously, if it's a refinance, you're using your utilities, so they're going to be on.
But people want to save water. They turn it off outside when they leave. I don't know.
Couple of things that have come up. If the house is vacant right now, you might go and turn the water on at the water company. However, make sure before the appraiser comes, all of the knobs underneath all of the sinks are turned on.
Yes, because they will flag that.
Yes, we had somebody who was renovating and they turned it off.
The appraiser will put in a report that this wasn't on, and they're not allowed to turn these things on because of some liability.
Safety, liability things. Same thing with the breakers. Make sure all of the breakers are on. It might have flipped one or whatever.
Right, especially the master, because if the master breaker is off, the appraiser cannot go out and turn it on because we don't know if there was an electrical hazard. Why is it turned off?
You as the realtor, you certainly are allowed to go turn it on, but don't expect your appraiser to do that. It's really important for you guys as the realtors to be there when the appraiser. You can do these things ahead of time.
So they can get a paycheck?
Not to mention, you want to point out some of the maybe improvements that were done, some of the things that you know of that were done to the house recently. The roof was just replaced.
You want them to help inflate the value?
No, just tell
us what you mean.
Bring to light the things that were done on the house. That's
outside of Captain Obvious.
Outside of Captain Obvious. Right. Sometimes it just makes it.
What about the ceiling fans and they stole them because they wanted them in their new house and it was a short sale and those wires dangling from the ceiling?
Somebody stole the ceiling fans?
No, that never happens.
No. Do you think they steal the appliances and stuff too?
Yeah, they steal microwaves and dishwashers apparently too, but that's a whole nother story. And we could do a whole show on that house, but that's not important now.
So another key thing to keep in mind, if they did take the ceiling fans or whatever, see like the plates and stuff, just put a plate up there. If there's hanging wires, that's a red flag. I know. There's one now.
What time's the appraiser going to be here? Can we get that?
If there's a hanging wire, if there's exposed wiring, if the little wall outlet plates are gone and stuff, spend 39 cents and go out and get some and put them on because it could make a big difference.
Where do you shop?
How much?
Cents for a wall plate?
I haven't
been. When's the last time you bought one? Have you been to Home Depot lately? They have $12 wall plates now that have little cool designs and all this. They have $20 wall plates.
Well, you don't have to get those. Aren't they 39 cents and something? All right, whatever. It's not a lot of money. $1.50 for the little plain white ones.
I honestly
put them up
know.
because it could make a big difference. How much of a big difference? If the appraiser comes and the appraiser says, "Oh, look, there's a hanging wire here because they took the ceiling fan out," or "Oh, look, there's wires falling out of the wall because they took the faceplates up." What happens then, Barry?
We kill the deal.
No. The appraiser has to come back out again. After the appraiser does that, the appraiser has to come back out again and re-inspect the house.
If the pool looks like it's very habitable for a frog, you might have a problem there.
The pool looks like pea soup.
Yes, that's a problem.
Fix it.
So we need to make sure that pool pump is running, functioning. throw shock in it, make it blue and beautiful, like DeLynn.
Remember, oh, how nice, thank you. Oh, 2 compliments this morning.
Who else complimented you?
My husband this morning.
Oh, that's
how
right.
Nice.
What a good guy he is.
Not only the pool, if there's something that's running, the appraisers are going to go out there and turn them on, so make sure they're running, make sure they're working, that's the kind of thing.
Now,
also,
my favorite, can I have this one, please, 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 please? All right, you know the garage that you have that's like, you never put your car in, but you put all the stuff in, and then you decided, hey, let's put in some paneling, because you're like lost in the 70s, so you want the wood paneling on the walls, and then the lava lights.
Trying to make the Brady Bunch house.
Yes, and you put up the black lights on the ceiling and all that stuff. You convert that garage to a room, and it's not permitted by the county. You didn't go out and pull permits. That's not going to fly. In fact, that could kill your whole deal.
So if you
Captain Obvious.
Captain Obvious. If you are
not really
if you are a realtor and you are listing a house that somebody has, you know, clearly it used to be a garage, and because it looks like the rest of the house is on the street, but they've converted that into living space. Please check the county records to make sure that it was legally permitted to be done. That has been causing a lot of havoc lately.
Well, I'm not saying a good real estate professional will pull the public records. Look at that little map on it, and I'm not saying you're not good if you don't do this, so don't take that wrong, but a really good realtor will do that. Just look on the map. If they're like extra rooms and stuff that aren't there, or ones that are there that aren't, you know, it's just
red flag.
Yeah, it's got to be
Might want to
there.
ask about that, might want to check into it. Also, while you're at the county record, another thing that has been coming up a lot lately, the flood zone. Now we had a whole show about flood last week.
Yes.
With Denise.
I got wet last week.
Yes.
This week I got hit with debris and rubble. But
when you are at the county records, check the flood maps, and I know a lot of you do that already. But heads up, our appraiser told us this as well. If it has under flood zone dash, that does not mean you're good to go. That means further checking is needed. That means the county, they're not exactly sure either. It means get a flood elevation, actually, is what it means to be on the safe side. As you know, X zones, you're good. The AE zones, V zones, those are the ones that you're in trouble with. So definitely double check on those, because that's been running into a lot of issues lately as well.
I think you learned a lot about flood last week.
I learned a lot about flood. And then I talked to an appraiser and I learned a lot about that. Okay, the other thing is have your house FHA ready. Everybody says, oh, FHA is so hard, so hard, so hard. You know what? If you just make sure the house is in good enough shape, then it's going to be ready, whether it's FHA or conventional, because they're all starting to get a little stricter now. What do we mean by FHA ready? FHA is extremely strict with certain things. It's entirely different
than conventional.
But they're all starting to get stricter now. But the key things they're looking for is safety issues.
Such as loose tiles, floor covering.
Floor covering. Has to have floor covering. So even if the carpet's like really nasty, don't tear it out. You know what? Just
the other things they
clean
look for,
it.
the big thing they look for is when the appraiser walks in, they want to make sure the TV is on, functioning and playing, and they're watching the Yukon game. That's what they're always looking for. You want to increase your value, put on a good sports episode that
loose tiles.
Just hang on. He's going to sit down on the couch. He's going to look at what's going on the TV, and he's going to determine the value based on the show you're watching. If you're not watching sports, you just lost like 10 grand in value.
Loose tiles. If there's loose tiles in the kitchen or the foyer or the bathrooms or even outside, some of the foyers outside, if they are loose, cracked, falling apart or something like that, glue them down, something.
Mold, mildew
they need that.
On the pavement that may be
Mold,
slippery,
mildew.
another safety
And then
issue.
the other thing, if you perhaps had termites in the past and there was some termite damage, some rotting wood, fascia, or if you have one of those cute little railings outside that looks really nice, if there's some rotting wood on that, they absolutely will make that get fixed.
If you open the window and they told you there was a balcony there and you step outside there and there's not one there, that's a safety issue.
That's a problem.
I know. The roof must have 3 years life expectancy too. That's the other thing to remember.
Now, one of the important things that we want to say about all of this stuff, if you do this stuff ahead of time, because it could make, like we said, a big difference, not only in value, but a big difference to the buyer, because if the appraiser notes things and they make their appraisal, the magic words are subject to,
Right,
they'll either make the appraisal as is, which means, okay, we're good to go as
Ka-ching.
is, or ka-ching, subject to. If
$150 to come back out, folks.
to come back out. So if it was just that knob, the water not turned on or something, or the breaker not flipped, or some silly little thing like a plate on the ceiling or the walls, $150 it costs for that appraiser to come back out and say, oh yeah, okay, take a picture of the plate that's now in place.
Congratulations, UConn.
Actually, this time I really can't complain about the sports part of this. Yay, UConn!
Finally!
Former Connecticut person here.
Next week we were going to get into wrestling if she didn't come along with me here.
Yay!
I think we covered a lot of great information about what's important, about the Captain Obvious things that we may miss in appraisals this week,
These are the things that, you know what, some of our appraisers have told us. So we wanted to, of course, share that information. So share the show, get it out there, YouTube, LinkedIn,
and if you're
Facebook,
a seller
Twitter,
or a
all
buyer,
that.
this can affect you. And if you're in real estate, it can definitely affect you. So yes, get our show out there. We're getting more and more likes and views
Yes, thank
every
you so
week.
much.
So
We appreciate you watching. We are today and every day.
moving forward.
We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.